everybody. We've got another top five series. This week we have Starfleet, and I have brought on my good friend and local Michael Moskop as our resident Starfleet expert. Hello.
Whoa.
He is a comic book hero on the boards and has been known to even design some Starfleet. All right, so Michael is doing both first and second edition for us today. I always love when I can consolidate to one guest.
Yeah, I tend to play Starfleet wherever and whenever I can.
All right, well, Michael, let's go ahead and get started with first edition.
All right.
I'm going to share my screen and pull up the, remember to sell it, okay. So we're going to start off with your top five first edition here. So go ahead, or excuse me, for first edition cards. So go ahead and tell us what we've got here for starting with your number five.
Okay, so for number five, yeah, we have the Mako training camp, kind of the new addition to Starfleet, is the new Mako deck. I kept it at number five because I wanted to kind of keep this list very Starfleet oriented for like the main cast, so Mako's kind of take up the back end of that. So I thought, let's keep them at number five.
It is a popular deck because it seems very flexible. There's a lot you can do with it.
There is, but that yeah, the key is right there on Mako Training Camp where you can download and then re-download and keep re-downloading military assault command operations. Now to get that to work, your deck, like at least for most of the deck builds that people have been doing, they've been keeping the the ratio of Makos in the draw deck extremely high, usually over 80%.
Okay.
Which so there is that other 20% is a lot of wiggle room, but you do have there's been a lot of differentiation for those other cards.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Then where are we next?
All right, so now for number four, I chose what I call new flocks, the flocks from the Broken Bow set, which yeah somebody I know real well worked on. Um, he's the new flocks kind of he's obviously a kind of a rebuild. I won't say he's a straight adaptation of the 2E flocks, but because we made some changes to him, but yeah, he's supposed to be the conversion of Flock's alien physiologist from 2E. And the big thing about alien physiologist is that he was able to save people from death, and so the way we built that in is with a download of sickbay, which most people are using to download sickbay menagerie to save save a lot of people from dying.
Oh, okay. So there may at some point in time be multiple sick bay cards.
Right, right. We left that open for the future in case maybe a future Crusher or a future Bashir would want to download a sickbay.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I just love that he's attributes plus one for each animal present. It's always good when you can get in, some kind of where you can get in animals somehow.
Oh, sure, and yeah, and honestly, Starfleet probably has the easiest way to get animals because you've got Phlox's osmotic eel, you've got Porthos. Yeah, he can get some attribute bumps.
Nice. Very cool. All right. So where are we going next then?
So my number three, I went to yeah the first time we saw Enterprise in Star Trek CCG, I went back to the Enterprise collection, and chose Maxwell Forrest. And the big reason is he can download any NX class ship you want, and that can be huge either early game by downloading him with Defend Homeworld, or let's say you actually draw into the Enterprise in your starting hand, then why not download maybe ISS Enterprise or the Columbia? You can yeah, since it's any NX class ship, you've got a lot of room to play with Maxwell Forest.
Yeah, and now I'm curious because it's been so long since I've looked at the Enterprise collection. Yeah, they those those jerks left that uh as a broken link. Look at that.
Yep. Now,
Wow.
and the thing when you told me to come up with 5 cards for Starfleet, like the Enterprise collection is chock full of stuff, and that's because, frankly, it wasn't designed well. It was kind of thrown in at the last second. Yeah, once they knew 1E was ending, so like Forest is any NX class ship is a very powerful download and probably more powerful than it should have been at the time. But yeah, that's why they're this whole list could have maybe been Enterprise collection cards, but I wanted to kind of mix in the new stuff to show people where Starfleet is now.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. So let's see. Where are we next then?
So now another Enterprise collection card, but he's had multiple versions now, um, and which caused some issues with icons and things like that. But I think everything's now been ironed out. It's a good old Trip himself, Charles Tucker III. Now, the reason I picked him is because he's a skill horse, of 2 classifications, 2 skills times 2. Also toss in honor and diplomacy, and then any tricorder you want. So, like you see Trip tossed into all sorts of decks, not just Starfleet, because you can always temporal micro wormhole him in if there's some tricorder you need for a deck. Um, he's such a good all around card. Like I splash whenever I'm playing anything 22nd century. Trip tends to be my temporal micro wormhole target. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but in Starfleet, he's your go-to guy.
Yeah, and plus the comp skill times too. I know it's not as popular as it used to be, like way back in the day when I was playing regularly. But you could get him out with quark-size linear rods too.
Of course.
So
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't see that as much as I see the defend homeworld. But I guess that's because QIR doesn't have the doesn't have does it have the ref icon on it?
No, you're right. Well, no, it
Oh,
doesn't. But the issue is that when you're using the rods, he downloads to hand. He's not a play, so
ah,
you still have to wait a turn for that. So that's why some people shy away from it. But he's still a great target for it. Also, that transporter skill times 2 in today's meta is just so clutch.
yeah, I've been when I was at Gen Con a couple weeks ago, played a bunch of sealed stuff, and looking at those old Premier dilemmas, it was like the things that they wanted on those old dilemmas were all classifications and
Right.
sometimes diplomacy, and
Hmm.
I guess I hadn't noticed that before, and now it's really branched out, which is good.
Right. Of course.
You need different things in a changing meta.
Of course. Oh yeah.
All right, and it looks like our number one, we've got Hoshi with Sluggo.
Yep.
So
Hoshi and
tell
Sluggo. Yeah, We're Ready is just probably one of the easiest draw engines to play, because Hoshi herself downloads it, and most decks, for Starfleet are going to be sticking to Starfleet anyway. So that extra draw for the cost of 1 personnel, just Hoshi, who has geology, so you can always get her with Bricklayer. Um, it's such it's the card that goes in every Starfleet deck. Everyone says, well, what about Finally Ready to Swim? Well, Finally Ready to Swim can be used by pretty much anyone who's playing 22nd Century, but We're Ready gives Starfleet one more draw on top of it.
and that's always just so important.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So any last words on first edition Starfleet then?
Um, well, I didn't want to put any of the Terran Empire into this because I don't know if you're going to do a Terran Empire week. If you do, call me. But don't forget that there's always a contender out there.
Mm,
Those are a personal favorite, seeing as I worked on that set. So yeah, there's a lot for Starfleet out there.
very true. Lots both the first edition, second edition for sure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we had AU week um back earlier this year, and it was sort of everything was kind of lumped in there
yeah.
for um, mirror stuff, and I think I was looking more at Deep Space Nine mirror universe stuff. I don't remember if I yeah, because and then in second edition it was a little bit of here this and that because it's alternate universes kind of all over the place in second edition. So yeah, all right, cool. So that wraps up our first edition cards. Let's take a look at second edition. So where are we on? What's your number five?
So number five, I went all the way back to Taboli Go when Starfleet first came into 2E. It's Malcolm Reed, weapons expert. Um, yeah, he's a four coster, but come on, free dilemmas under your missions is just too good to pass up. And now with the new Starfleet kind of always trying to get those dilemmas underneath for bonuses down the road, he's just a great personnel to have in the deck.
Oh yeah, he's well worth the four cost for sure, and has been since he came out.
Right.
Yeah, unless you're playing like specifically playing a Mako deck, I can't really see putting other ones in, putting other persona in, but yeah.
No, yeah, I'd say if you're playing the AU side of it, his AU version, you'd want him in the deck just for skills, but weapons expert is it's just so powerful so often that it's yeah, that choice can even that choice can be difficult.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. All right, cool. So let's see. Then okay. So here we are at your number four.
All right. Yeah, so let's talk about accumulated knowledge. Um, it, it's a solid card. It was a solid card before the errata. It's still a solid card afterwards. Um, and like this is what wins games for Starfleet players nowadays. This can be any version of Starfleet. Like I see this in a damage deck. I see this in a straight Starfleet. Um, or yeah, any like this can go anywhere because in that late game, this is going to get you through that final mission attempt that you need.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's so rare to have something as good as when any number of your personnel
right.
are about to be stopped. I mean, that's just clutch.
Yeah.
Somebody hits you with with an all stop or a rapid progress or infinite diversity. Sorry, I'm thinking of someone. I don't know who.
Oh, I wonder
Yeah.
who.
Oh, one of our locals is a really awesome skill tracker, and he loves to use rapid progress and infinite diversity. So that's what we're doing an in thing there.
Yeah,
Sorry to the rest of the viewership.
that's fine. Let him in. Let him inside baseball. That's fine.
Yeah, but accumulated knowledge is great. It's also, by the way, 8 cost printed, which if you're throwing Morik in your deck for purposes of his attributes going out
Oh yeah.
going over the top, that's a great thing also. All right, so let's see. I'll get rid of you. Oops. We've run into the apostrophe problem on
Oh,
the search
yeah, I
engine.
got you.
So let's
So
see.
yeah, number
Here,
three was
here
yeah,
we.
it's the overbearing observer of T'Pol.
Yeah, our broadcaster. Um. Oh no, personnel present. She doesn't.
Right. It's only present.
That's present. That's right. I was thinking for.
So everybody's got it. It's everybody who's in the attempt.
Mm-hmm.
But like T'Pol, I've seen like it's so clutch sometimes. Like especially like if you're facing anyone who brought a consume deck,
Mm-hmm.
they might consume into something that will now be pretty much blanked because of T'Pol.
Right.
So like it's like that. Yeah, again, just preventing stops and is can be such a clutch thing. And yeah, plus look at those like good skills, good cunning, a gold star, all for 3 costs. She's just the it's a whole package.
Yep. Yep.
and she's also a non-human for Starfleet.
Yeah. I mean, she's any of the T'Pol personae are fantastic, but yes, this is a really great one because of that stop prevention.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And that's the reason that she's on the wait list or on the watch list, excuse me.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
eh,
not very serious
no, I
looking
don't.
at
Yeah,
her right now.
she's fine. She's fine. You're okay.
All right, so next we've got
So let's
for
talk
our
displaced. Yeah,
number
let's talk
two.
displaced. All right. So I've always loved the displace mechanic. I think like it's always been because it again it works across the board for Starfleet. Like any Starfleet deck can splash it. Um, yeah, and then once you do, like you've got a mass unstop with Lorian. You've got a broadcasted attribute +2 with Karen Archer. Um, it's it's just a huge weapon in the Starfleet arsenal. Plus, Future Enterprise is one of their best ships. So not only is it fueling the mechanic, but you're also getting a ship with 8 range and that only needs 1 gold star for 5 cost. Like it's everything's economical too in the package. So yeah,
Yeah,
this place works.
I mean it's nice to have a ship in a Starfleet deck that natively has range of 8 because almost all the rest of them you have to have you have to meet some sort of condition to bring the range up to 8.
Right.
And that's the 8 people realized pretty early on in back at the beginning of the game that 8 was sort of the gold standard of if you've got a ship that's got less than range 8, it's not working for you all that well because you can't go back and forth between 2 missions in one turn.
Right. And then yeah, if you mix it with damaged Starfleet, the Future Enterprise can be your bus back and forth from Earth, while Damaged Enterprise is your mobile headquarters. It's a great way to play that.
All right, then let's go on for your top pick.
Uh,
Unsurprisingly, I think.
so I mentioned Damage on purpose because yeah, good old Damaged Archer, the card that changed a million decks. Uh, he's the game changer. He can some people's dilemma piles, he can basically nullify them by keeping it in the Delphic Expanse and then excluding everybody from random selections. It's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I've had it I've had this deck, I've had this card absolutely wreck me because I wasn't prepared. Either it was I didn't have a skill, and it's interesting to think about historically how the how the meta and the design on dilemmas has ebbed and flowed from skill dilemmas to no skill dilemmas and back to skill dilemmas again, and you can see the how cards react to that. So it's a really
Right.
he's a reminder of a really interesting point in design. Although he hasn't been errated. He's not looking. Nobody's looking at errata for him, but it's from the set that has the most.
True. That's
Yeah,
true.
peak performance is a rather notorious set for that.
Right. And yeah, I'm sorry. I've used him against you too many times. But
I would, not just you. I mean, I've gone to traveled to other big tournaments and I watched him hit the table and had to rethink. Okay, which dilemmas am I using now? What am I? You know, what am I? All of a sudden, oh, okay, that hard time doesn't work anymore. All right, we're just moving that on. Oh, okay, weak full pair still does. All right, that's good. So it is one of those factors that you start thinking about in terms of what are you putting into a dilemma pile? Do I have too much of one kind of dilemma and not enough of another kind? So it's good to have that. It's good to have that depth of thought when you're building a deck.
yeah, and and to kind of get on my soapbox a little bit, I've always thought that Damage Archer is really excellent design because he the point of this game, the point of 1E2 is that you're gonna build up your crew on your spaceship. You're gonna go fly it out, and they're gonna try and fix things with the skills they have. Like that's the point of the show. That's the point of the game. So So Archer kind of forces people to think that way,
Hmm.
and I've always thought that was kind of elegant in a way. Yeah, in terms of design.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way, but yeah, that is a really excellent way of looking at that. And I do like how that in terms of also in terms of design when it comes to like how do how do you design a new archer after that? And I think heroic diplomat is he the most no, he's not the most recent one. Who who just came out most recently? Novice mediator. That that there's a place in a deck for this archer as well. That you
Oh, sure.
can that there is a time and place that you can that you can, although also coincidentally with blood on his face. Uh,
Oh yeah, that's it's an excellent episode too. But yeah, it's novice. Yeah, novice archer is there because there were a lot of players who were sick of playing the same three Delphic Expanse missions every time they played Starfleet.
mhm,
It's understandable because yeah, yeah, you play you play the sphere, you play the cowboy planet, and you play the mining planet. Everybody plays them the same. So yeah, so then if you wanted to switch out your Starfleet deck and try something different, that's what Novice is for. That's the whole
mhm.
point.
Yeah, so I do love that they found a way, and they, there's multiple examples of it that there have been ways that to bring in new personae of personnel and come up with ways that there's not one that's necessarily strictly better all the time. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing on this then. All right, so any last thoughts, Michael? Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm just yeah, like I'm a fan of Enterprise in general, so I gravitated toward Starfleet as an affiliation. Um, I'm happy that I'm happy you're doing this and that you started from Federation and you finally worked your way to Starfleet. It's been a long road getting from there to here. Um, it's been a long time, but my time is finally here. That's all I have to say.
All right, so on that note, I will say good night to y'all, and I forget what my next week is.
Yeah,
I think it's
I have that
con
effect
week, but I'm
myself.
not sure. Uh, all right, so again, thank you so much, Michael, for coming on tonight. Thank you to
No
all of our
problem.
viewers for listening to or for viewing another top 5 Starfleet. So I will see you guys next time.